And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 1142. Today is Thursday, September 7th, 2023, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day. And today's top stories: Coinbase launches crypto lending platform for U.S. institutions. Genesis sues parent company DCG and other affiliate for $600 million in loans. Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust alleged wallet addresses released by Arkham, and Google will allow ads for NFT games starting September 15th. First and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices on the day. All right, let me go ahead and bring this up. Looking at, of course, coin market cap, what we've been using the longest here. Let's see. Here it is. Bitcoin is coming in not so hot. It's finally staying at this $25,000 mark. It looks like, but Bitcoin's coming in at $25,679, down 0.15%. Ethereum at $1,628, down 0.23%. Number 5, Ripple at 49 cents, down 0.64. Number 7, Cardano at 25 cents, down 0.81. And rounding off number 10, that 7 cent still is Tron, up 1.73%. Trending tokens are Shiba Inu down 1.93%, Anchor up 0.1%, and Bitcoin down 0.2%. Fear and Greed index is still at 35. Bitcoin dominance at a 48.2%, and Ethereum is still at 18.9%. So those are your prices on the day. Again, sideways movement for the last few months. It's feeling like 2019 again. So that's what we have. Aboriginal Man, what's going on? Fanteezy, No Cap, Chloe Dior, Holloway, Found Bound, or Kwanji, Wisdom Bars. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm getting on early. I got to run early today, but I want to make sure I got in the show since I missed yesterday. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Not a lot of stories. Again, news has been slow. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens with price, ETFs, regulations, to be expected. But let's go over some quick stories. Top story, actually yesterday, reporting on it today, is Coinbase launching crypto lending platform for U.S. institutions. That is right. Coinbase new institutional lending service has the same operating entity as Coinbase Borrow, which halted the issuance of new loans in May. It looks like Coinbase has rolled out a lending service for institutional investors in the U.S., reportedly aiming to capitalize on massive failures in the crypto lending market. If you remember, they actually tried to become lenders, similar like Celsius and all the other stuff. The SEC essentially slapped them down and said, allow it. And Coinbase did not do it. But that was to be lending to the retail market. So it looks like now they're doing the exact same thing, but they're going to be lending to the institutional market. Coinbase is being quoted as saying, with this service, institutions can choose to lend digital assets to Coinbase under standardized terms in a product that qualifies for a Regulation D exemption. This is what I would say. I'm not even going to go through this whole story. You can read this on Cointelegraph, of course, as far as how this is going to work. But I'm about to give you the simplistic breakdown of how this is going to work and why it's going like this. All right. The biggest money grab of essentially the last couple of years were the lending platforms, right? Now, since then, majority of them, if not all of them, have pretty much failed. But it didn't have to do with the actual lending. It had to do with their process, right? Like they were, I don't even know all the correct words on top of my head right now. I'm having brain farts, but essentially they were using user funds that were supposed to be used for collateral or being lended out, and they were using that for their other businesses, right? They were either like Alex Machansky doing outright fraud, where they would just take the money and go buy themselves a yacht or a house or something, Sam Bankman-Fried, or they were taking the money and using it for other crypto businesses or other investments. But the bottom line is they weren't doing what they said they were doing the money. So to me, it wasn't the actual lending platforms failed because of the lending practices as much as just their greed and fraudulent practices in general. I say that to say lending to institutions, not only do I think can work and be a good idea, but I can actually see them parlaying that to allowing the institutions to do any other type of loans and lending and bonuses. So essentially what we saw, for example, for like a Celsius. So I don't know off the top of my head, Genesis, they say what, you get 6%, 12% back on all the Bitcoin or crypto you lend on these platforms, right? Well, now that Coinbase is saying we're only going to do this with institutions, they can do that same amount, let's say 6%, 12% with the institution's billions of dollars. And then the institution can take that to say, hey, all right, our savings accounts are now 2%. Okay, now we can give you even cheaper home loans or car loans. or we can do this with your lending or loans. Like now they can do so many different things in their business practice. Whereas in reality, they don't really have the money. They're just now giving all that money up front to a crypto company like Coinbase, which is probably going to reinvest it, try to make money on it, keep it in Bitcoin, whatever. So again, it's kind of like a derivative, but not really, at least like, through the institutions, they have to actually give that money to these crypto companies. So they should be buying Bitcoin on the back end, which would inflate the price. But by and large, it's literally going to be the same thing, except they're going to add the middleman, which will be the banks and institutions, right? So the banks and institutions will get the sweet deal from Coinbase, where they get the 6 to 12% from lending, whatever. Coinbase don't have to worry about getting in trouble with the government by messing with retail, but they're still making their bank because they still have that capital that they would have otherwise gotten from the retail market, but not from the institutional market. Banks are going to be happy because now they're getting 6 to 12%. And then, of course, the last person in the equation, and especially the person that will be getting fucked, will be all of us, because we'll be at the bottom end, still thanking the banks for allowing us to have any type of extra bonus, when in reality, they're going to be working with the Coinbases of the world when we should be the ones doing it. So that's pretty much what I think is going to happen here. Yeah, I mean, and again, maybe this is a good thing for the market. Institutions getting lent to, at least in the short term, it would be a good thing for the market. Long term, it will be terrible once someone lies, either the banks or the Coinbases of the world, the exchanges. As soon as someone does dirty business and it goes down, it's going to destroy a whole lot of people. So that's pretty much what I think is going to happen with this. We'll wait and see. But you all know I'm damn near batting 90 out here. I don't know the correct percentages of baseball, but as far as grades, we're pretty high when it comes to these guesses and and our analysis here. So we'll see. But that's what I think is going to happen. I think Coinbase will do it as a proof of concept. Once it works, you'll see the Binances of the world, the Geminis of the world. You see all of them saying, fine, the government's allowing us to do this with institutions. And institutions, since they have all the KYC and every mechanism the government wants, they can from there bring on and onboard new retail through their channels instead of actually going through the exchange. So remains to be seen. I'm sure it'll take at least 6 months for this thing to really get rolling, but that's what I think is going to happen with it. I can't wait to see, though. Let's see. What else do we have going on today? Genesis, woo, they want their money back. Speaking of lenders, right? I mean, this is where this came from. Genesis sues parent company DCG and other affiliate for $600 million of loans, then stays action. DCG borrowed $500,000 from a subsidiary last year, and DCG Investments borrowed over 18,000 Bitcoin. Both have allegedly defaulted. So this is what I'm talking about with the whole loan thing, right? This was really messing up the retail market on this side. But once they go over to the institutional side, because from the institutional side, while they only have 1 or 2 clients, you're talking big banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, they only have a few clients. Their actual clients will have millions of actual clients under them as well, which would be a what's the word? I was going to say affiliate, which would be, I guess, which would still have that association with the cryptocurrency lending companies in general. So again, bankrupt crypto lender Genesis Global Capital, GGC, filed 2 suits on September 6th, seeking the repayment of overdue loans from affiliated companies. The loans are worth over $600 million in total. GGC filed the complaints against Digital Currency Group, of course, Barry Silbert, others call him Barry Shilbert, and DCG International Investments, and the Southern District of New York Bankruptcy Court. That's right. Listen, if you want money back from a crypto company, go to the Southern District of New York. As long as they get their cut, they're in on it. All right. GGC and DCGI are both owned by DCG. According to the complaint, DCGI, GGC loaned it 18,697 Bitcoin in June of 2022 under an open loan agreement reached in 2019. The outstanding balance of the loan was converted in November to a fixed term loan due on May 11, 2023. The loan was partially repaid and the balance of 4,550.5 Bitcoin remained. They want that back. This is clear as day. We'll have to wait to see what happens with the court decides, even though once again, if I had to throw my 2 Satoshis in there, I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is Southern District. They're going to rule with let's see, Genesis sues. Yeah, they're going to rule with Genesis actually for that parent company, not because it's the right thing to do, but because for every lawsuit that is winnable, the courts, Southern District of New York, they get a little bit of power and a little bit of money too. So hey, if you're going to come to them with something this big, they will happily take it. So we'll see what happens with that one. All right. Speaking of some of these bigger organizations out there like DCG, got to talk about Grayscale Bitcoin. To me, this was like a dumb moment, but cool. It still makes sense. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust alleged wallet addresses have been released by Arkham. First and foremost, I would say this. Like Grayscale Bitcoin is probably one of the oldest, longest, and strongest place to invest in Bitcoin, on an institutional level. So I would just assume off the top of my head, if we were to look at the blockchain, the top 10 or 15 wallets, one of them would probably be Grayscale. It's like, boom. I can tell you who some of the other ones are, right? Like one of them was going to belong to Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. One of them will belong to CC and Binance. One of them will belong to Gemini and the Winklevoss twins. Like, it's not that hard, people. We pretty much know some of the biggest players in the space. Another one might be MicroStrategy, somewhere on that line, right? So to me, it was like, that's why it wasn't like that exciting of a story, but still cool to see how they came up with it. So the blockchain analytics firm claims Grayscale is the world's second largest Bitcoin entity. Looks like Arkham Intelligence claims to identify the addresses of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Really quick, this is why I love Bitcoin and blockchain technology. If you can do this with a private company, people, you can, or I think it's private, Grayscale might be public, but regardless, if you can do this with a company, you can do it with the government. Like literally just on a random Tuesday, people are like, oh, we think we found all the Bitcoin wallets for this gazillion, bajillion Bitcoin worth company. Like, yes, if we can do it with them, we can do it with regulators and government, which is why we need it. The trust consists of more than 1,750 addresses holding a total of over $16 billion worth of Bitcoin. According to a September 6th thread on X, Arkham claimed that Grayscale is the second largest Bitcoin entity globally. And again, you can see here, they said, though Grayscale publicly reports balances, they have refused to identify the on-chain addresses of the trust. I agree with them not doing that. Again, it's not hard to tell. Like the biggest addresses are going to be some of the Grayscale. So it's not like really hard. You can kind of guess the top 20 or 30 addresses, and maybe 3 of them will be Grayscales. But the second thing is they shouldn't and wouldn't want to push that out there because of security reasons, right? From their point of view, they're like, hey, the last thing we want is for all the hackers on the planet just to be coming after us all at the same time. So I don't blame them. But again, this is public information, which is the cool thing about this. So, and another thing, maybe this would promote Grayscale actually showing their real addresses, just in case one of these addresses they gave are wrong. Grayscale might come out and say, no, these are the actual real ones, and here's why we told you. But right now, here are the 5. Again, they're public, so you can just paste them in the Blockchain Explorer, and you can look up the amount of Bitcoin they have. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to do it right now, but feel free to do it on your own. They're saying here the first 3 addresses hold roughly $51 million worth of Bitcoin in total. And the last 2 hold no funds, but show transactions coming from other Grayscale Bitcoin Trust addresses. And again, this is why the network is so strong. If it was hackable, people would hack it. All right. Last but certainly not least, last story of the day. I got to run, folks. Google will allow ads for NFT games starting September 15th. I mean, the story is in the headline. The new updates to the cryptocurrency ads policy allow for NFT gaming ads, provided the games and ads don't promote gambling. I mean, that's going to be subjective, but essentially Google must have something up its sleeve as far as rolling out NFTs, partnering with NFT companies, or they just want the money and they realize how much money they left out for them. Crypto and NFT ads are huge. We've done plenty of NFT ads on this channel. I won't lie to you all, guys. They pay very well. Hell, you might see some more next week. All right, they do great. So any business would probably want to have those ads. Now I guess it's just going to see how crazy it's going to get, right? Will we see one ad every blue moon, or will we start seeing like literally NFT ads around the clock on everything, Google, YouTube, searching the internet? Like, who knows how that's going to happen? But again, I think this is a strong base hit for the community. Why? Because it only brings more people over to crypto. And again, while it might not be for NFTs in the long run, it's good for that to at least be the introduction to get them over here, get them excited. And then once they're in the space, maybe they see Bitcoin. Maybe they see some other token or utility token that has real use, and the technology behind it is powerful. So that's what I'm hoping happen. All right. Other than that, isn't Arkham an asylum? Satoshi, much appreciated. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Okay. Satoshi Slim said, how do we get a heads up when you're going to start early? I thought about that. I am going to start being super active on the Discord. I know Zay's not active in there these days, I don't believe. So I'll start being super active on there, and I'll let you know when I'll start going early, the super early in the morning or the night before, to make sure everybody has a heads up. All right. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Aboriginal man, I do hold some Ethereum. I hold a little bit of everything. But yeah, I mean, I jump in and out of everything as well. But other than that, that is a show today. Make sure you smash that like and share, and I will see you all tomorrow with some more news. Cheers.